channels are taken. So we moved vibration to the feet. Vibration. Front means go. Right means turn right. Ears stay free. We're Ashirase from Tokyo, about 800 users today. This year, we connected it to Meta glasses. Tap your feet together below. The glasses camera captures the scene and the AI describes what's around you. Hands stay on the can, ears stay open. And next, indoor, or GPS dials. Today, you hold up a phone to find a position, but with glasses camera, localization becomes invisible. One belief to review is, if navigation works for someone who can see, it works for everyone. Come feel it on your own feet. Demo is always available. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. I'm very much looking forward to trying this out. So this goes into your shoe, and then you'll hear the audio cues through the glasses. That's amazing. Well, please find it at lunch or dinner tonight or even tomorrow for a demo of this. What do you call this? That's it. So please join me in thanking. And I'm excited to invite Kirvas, who's joining us from India, to share what he's doing.
Yes, good morning everyone. I'm Srinivas. I'm a senior machine learning scientist at Wadhwani AI. Wadhwani AI is an applied not-for-profit, applied AI not-for-profit where we build solutions for the underserved communities. We build AI for the very end of the road, which is the last mile. What I want to take my 5 minutes here today is to give a perspective on what it takes to build solutions for the global south. The model, the AI model is the easy part. That's the part that we can all see. But what decides whether this model, the benefits of the model actually reach the end user is what I'm going to speak about right now. Okay, so a very quick context on where all of this comes from. So at Wadhwani AI, we build small task-specific AI for various solutions, and we embed these into public platforms. For example, we have solutions within India's tuberculosis national program. It's there in our telemedicine platform, and it's also there in our public schools. That's gotten us to 210 million people so far and counting. The important takeaway is that none of this reaches the end users through a premium device. The reality is that these solutions are with the frontline health worker sitting in a village who's holding an entry-level smartphone with patchy or no internet connection. That's what the last mile actually is, and it's really unforgiving. A way to look at this, the really idea that I want all of you to take away is that the machine learning model, it's probably, as a machine learning scientist, is something that I obsess over, and probably a lot of you in this room obsess over as well. It is probably responsible for about 10% of the impact. The remaining 90% is the last mile. And this remaining 90% isn't really vague. It's a very specific set of things that sits between a model that works in a lab and a model that actually reaches the end user and benefits them. So that's, these are 6 tenets which we think constitute that 90%. Language, which is the most natural way. So ensuring that You build something for local dialects, for local accents, and not just restricted to the conventional clean English is very important. The second one, which is a big one, is working offline. Rural areas where internet is a luxury and it's not a basic need that we're all accustomed to is again very important. Low digital readiness, simple one-touch workflows, leaning on aspects such as voice is assuming low digital readiness of the end user is again an important tenet. Earning trust, whether that's for the user or for the beneficiary who's sitting in front of them, is again very important. Fitting it's usually hands-full workflows, very short 30-second workflows, so ensuring that your solution fits into that is again very important. And finally, it lives in existing systems. So plugging it into platforms that already exist reduces the barrier for adoption. If you miss one of these, what we have seen is that no matter how good your model is, it really doesn't matter, because what that ends up being is sits as a pilot rather than an end product which a user uses. So with that being said, very concrete example, we have an oral reading fluency tool which has gone through about 8 million children who have done assessments in Hindi and Gujarati, which are 2 languages in India. And this happens on their teachers' phones with almost no internet, which can barely even hold a phone call sometimes. A second project is the spoken English assessment and proficiency, which is for which it was one of the Meta Llama Impact Grant projects. What this does is this scores students on spoken English for a wide variety of Indian accents. The fun part is that if a student trips on certain words or certain phrases, we use Llama to generate a practice paragraph that leverages the same words or similar words so that the students can practice again and again. 60,000 assessments and still counting. What binds these two is voice. Both tools are voice first. The child is simply reading or speaking out aloud, so the barrier to digital literacy is completely reduced over there. My last slide here is that if you're building for the global south, the real product is your last mile. Get the model done, get the model right, you've done part of the job, but to really take it into the hands of the user, it's these 6 steps that we have found useful. If there's anything more that you would like, I'll be around, more than happy to have a chat. Thank you.
Keep on wanting to hold the mic, but I have the mic right here. Thank you for sharing those tips, because I think a lot of companies, a lot of developers here are looking to branch out globally as well, so please do reach out. I would now like to invite Cecilia from 33 Labs to join me. Cecilia.
Hey everyone, I'm Cecilia, dark hair. I am wearing glasses and I'm wearing an AI pin that augments my personal memory. I am founder of 33 Labs, and today I wanted to talk to you about the possibility of exploring if voice could be a full interaction channel just by itself. And think about it, conversation was actually the humanity's original interface. That's how we did everything in the past. One day, before computers existed, everything was done by talking to other humans. You would go and trade with others, you would go and teach others or learn from others, etc. So that was the standard, and eventually came computers, and like Matthew was talking earlier, we had to adapt to computers, right? We had to go into this, translate all our intentions into, these settings, these buttons, these tabs, but that's adapting, that's not our natural interface. What we believe that could be happening now with AI, and with AI that is actually exponentially becoming smarter by the day, is that AIs can meet us in our human language. And that makes natural conversation potentially could become a complete interaction channel. That's our thesis. And for that reason, we built, in 33 Labs, we built something that we call Halo Field. Halo Field, you guessed it, is a field of halos. And what are halos? Halos are like skills or mini apps for conversations. So imagine the apps of the conversations of the futures. We believe, and we are creating them as halos. Halos could be helping you or coaching you in a French immersion practice. They could help you practice your pitch or your lightning talk if you're going to speak here. And they could also do practical things like help you catalog a moving box and much, much more. Essentially, we believe on consumers creating halos, creating and remixing others' halos. So if someone created a halo for a French conversation, but you really want to learn Japanese, you will just remix it and make it into your Japanese halo. That will help you and others in the future. So I'd like to try to show you a halo in action. I don't know if we have a video. Yeah, we do. So I'm going to do a little bit of context here. I am in my house. In this video, it's 20 seconds, just to show you a glimpse of it. I am preparing an omelette for breakfast, like every morning, and essentially, instead of just preparing the omelette, I'm actually also having my classes, and I'm having my French coach teaching me immersively. He can see that I have green onions and avocados, and he can, help me practice the French conversation. So let's see if we can play it. I think we're gonna go back. Well, we might not be able to play it as a video, but let's see. Okay, no worries. If you want, you're gonna have a chance to experience it in the demo on Wednesday, so no worries at all. Come and say hi. But what I would like to say, to give a little more context about halos, is that halos are a conversation, but a conversation with a container. So that way, you have three particular elements. The first one is purpose. A halo has a purpose, so when a user launches a halo, they don't have to prompt, they don't have to face an empty prompting, they just have a particular task that they're trying to accomplish, and that's already part of the halo. Second, a halo has a structure, which generally is going to become guidance, coaching. So there's something that already, there's some expertise that has been prompted into a halo so that the user can experience that particular experience in the best possible way. The last thing, the third thing that halos have is continuity, or you could also think of it as memory. So when you launch a halo, it has memory across multiple sessions. So the next time you come in, it knows how to give you the next lesson, or it knows how to pick it up exactly where you left it. It also produces a recap at the end, so you could have a vocabulary if it was a French session, you could have all the items that you put packed in a box that you never know what you have there, and so forth. Anyways, that's what I wanted to share today. It's 33 Labs doing Halo Field, a field of halos, and we'd love to see you if you want to say hi and stop by at the demo.
Well, if folks are looking to demo Halo tomorrow, we have a luncheon showcase where some of you have put up your hands and said, I would love to show folks in this room my experience, my integration. If there are others, please let me know. We have other tables set aside where you can set up a station, and folks that are lunch can stop by and see what you've built. Now I'm also curious as to who in this room is a developer. Can I just get a show of hands? So when we hosted this summit in December of last year, many of you asked, when do I get access to the SDK? Then we released the Device Access Toolkit, and many of you have begun to build, innovate, and grow this ecosystem. I do want to acknowledge, first and foremost, the team that's behind the Wearables Device Access Toolkit. Can I just get a show of hands for those who are working on the platforms, partner engineers? Raise your hand high. Amanda, I see you there. Right there, 2, 3. There are 2 engineers in the back. We're very shy. Raise your hand, stand up. Hello, there we go. So there are 6 of them here, I guess. And if you have any questions, I know a lot of you have come to me saying, I would love to be connected to that team. This is the team. I'm making that connection point right now. So without further ado, I'm delighted to welcome Connor Griffiths from the Wearables Device Access Toolkit team. Such a mouthful, but Connor.
Hey everyone, great to be with you all. My name is Connor Griffiths and I'm a member of the team working on wearables, specifically our focus on building out a platform for our AI glasses. And Darren really beat me to the punchline there. I'm up here getting to talk about some of our work, and in a few minutes I'll be having a conversation with some of our early partners we did some work with. However, there's been a whole host of people that have really contributed to our efforts, that have made this possible, from many of the engineers sat in the back of the corner right there. So it's great to be up here talking about the work. So about 2 years ago, in the summertime, we made a conscious effort to invest in enabling a platform. And it was really in our shared belief that developers and our partners in this room were going to unlock so much value from our glasses, and that we believe our glasses could help you solve many of the challenges that you're working tirelessly on every single day. So we decided back in the summertime to build out an SDK, which many of you I'm sure are familiar with. I was having conversations with all of you over drinks last night about some of the work you've been doing. But we enabled the Device Access Toolkit, which is an SDK allowing you to support your iOS and Android apps and connect to the sensors on our AI glasses. We announced this at Connect last year. We spoke about some of the early partners we've been doing work with, the likes of Disney, and Twitch, and 18 Birdies, golf partners, near and dear to my heart. I love playing golf, so it was great that we were able to work on that. But this was really targeted at the time on our displayless glasses. So our audio-only based experiences, and our Ray-Ban Meta glasses, and also our Oakley Meta glasses. But then we also, last year, launched our display glasses, the Meta Ray-Ban display, and we invested heavily to enable developer tooling for this device as well. That we believe there's some unique experiences that can be unlocked with a UI and a heads-up display that can provide even more utility to partners. So we exposed a display kit in our mobile SDK, in the Device Access Toolkit, which we launched back in May. And then we've also enabled web app development for the display glasses, allowing you to actually extend web services to our display glasses. And that in particular had a focus on agentic tooling, agentic development, allowing you to build a web app very quickly, to deploy it to the glasses in a short amount of time. So it's a great mechanism to come up with an idea, build it, prototype it, and then see it come to life literally within less than an hour, which was really exciting. And what we're going to do today is, as I said, have a conversation with some of our partners. But what I've been really excited about, just even so far being at this event, is hearing the diverse set of use cases that you're all investigating, supporting. You even saw some of the posters outside on the windows. And that's why myself and everyone in the corner back there work so hard in this space, is that we really believe that there's so much value that we can continue to unlock, and that it's actually going to be surprising to some folks about the applications that can run on our glasses and how much utility we can still provide to individuals. So we're going to have a panel discussion with 3 partners that I'm going to invite up in a second that were involved working with myself from about a year and a half ago. They've been through the ups and downs of seeing how the SDK was built out. They gave us some early feedback as well, which we found really important, which guided us towards enabling this platform. And hopefully that conversation will serve as some insights for all of you as you leave today and get a better understanding of how you can build out and further improve your applications. And we'll also have a session tomorrow which will go into more technical detail. So a number of our engineers will actually walk through how to build applications for our glasses for anyone who has not done it yet. And then we'll have some time, about an hour, for any questions you have for us, big or small, and we'll do our best to answer them all. But I'm incredibly excited about this space, really bullish. I hope you all are too. We'll have even more announcements to make about the platform in the coming months, as well as we continue to invest in this space. But with that, I'm going to invite up our partners if they want to come join me on stage, and if they all want to come up, and then I'll introduce them once they get here. And get some chairs.
Oh, we got two more here.
Awesome, cool. So quick introduction for some of the partners that are joining us on stage. So firstly, joined by Vinu Samayajay, who is the Chief Technology Officer at Ira, and then joined by Niels Andriese, who is the co-founder and CEO at Supermoon AI. And then here, we've got two of our partners from Trigger XR. So joined by Jason Yin, who's the founder and CEO at Trigger XR. And then also joined by Andrew Purano, who's one of the senior software engineers at Trigger XR. So thank you so much for joining us, and looking forward to this discussion. But firstly, I'd love for each of you to give everyone in the room just a bit of a better understanding of the work that you do at your companies and what you've been building on Meta glasses recently. Vinu, do you want to lead off?
Okay. Yeah, I'm Vinu. I am Chief Technology Officer at Ira Tech Corp. I am a scruffy Indian man, about 5'10". My daughter says I'm shrinking, but I'm wearing a black hat, black Wayfarer Gen 2s, black shirt that says Ira on the front and Access is a human right on the back. So Ira provides visual interpreters for the blind and low vision community. Our visual interpreters are professional trained humans that assist the blind and low vision users with a range of tasks, like everyday ones from like reading mail, checking the thermostat, to the complex, like navigating a busy airport to assembling IKEA furniture. And they also act as a human in the loop for AI technology. So basically providing training data to make AI better for the blind, as well as providing a backstop for when AI doesn't do so hot. And most recently, we extended our platform for ASL interpreting for the deaf and hard of hearing community as well. So with Meta, we were fortunate enough to be early access partners for the Device Access Toolkit. So earlier this year, we launched a direct integration from our iOS and Android apps to allow our users to make hands-free calls from their Meta AI glasses, which was huge. We have about 1,000 people that have made calls so far, and overwhelmingly the response has been amazing. So thank you.
Thanks so much. Niels?
Yeah, cool. So as Connor was saying, I'm Niels. I'm, I guess, about 5'10", wearing jeans and a black t-shirt. And I am one of the co-founders and also co-CTO at Supermoon. So what we do is we build AI systems for real-world experiences. So think theme parks or zoos or museums, a cruise ship, more things, but basically things like that. So our systems know everything that's going on in those locations, and they try to learn everything they can about you as a guest to that location, such that the AI can then help you through your day, make sure you make the most of your day, help you reactively. So if you ask a question, just in terms of giving a great answer, but also proactively. So that means making suggestions and making sure that you, again, get the most out of your day. We've been working with Connor and others over at Meta for, I think, coming up to a year and a half, something like that, like a long time, since basically the start of the Wearables SDK. And yeah, super excited to be here. I'll give it over to you.
Yeah. Jason, Andrew? Hi, Jason Yim. I am Asian. When sitting on a stool, I'm also 5'10". But when I'm standing, I'm 5'7". We are a XR agency. We've been doing this for a long time. We have 400,000 hours of experience. We've been working on optical see-through glasses since ODG days, which is like 9+ years ago. So we're super excited for this brand new form factor that's actually fashionable and people will actually wear it. And we've been working on a couple things. One is a lot on the sports side. So on the mobile work that we've done a lot of live data for different types of sports, and now we're bringing it to glasses. So one thing to talk a little bit about is a NASCAR project. So we just did a pilot in Sonoma, and we have some more races coming up that we'd be excited to share about. But just imagine being able to stand at the side of a racetrack, and as the cars are going by at 200 miles per hour, you have all the telemetry, all the delayed data right onto your glasses. So that's something that at live events we think is really important, where you stay engaged, your eyes are actually on the sports, you're not looking up at a jumbotron and you're not looking at your phone, and you still get the same thing as a broadcast experience. Andrew, you want to talk about the other one?
Yeah, I can go into a little bit. Hi, I'm Andrew. I'm wearing, I think these are khakis. Are they khakis or chinos? Brown chinos and a gray jacket. Should I go into like the other projects or? Well, the other project we're going on to is a little bit more medically focused and using the actual orientation and we say angular measurement on the glasses to be able to help diagnose neck and back problems. A lot of these things, funnily enough, are technically possible on phone, but realistically are not going to like duct tape a phone to your head to do that sort of measurements. And it's way better to do it on a pair of glasses. So.
Yeah, just to mention on that one, we're actually partnered with a Tripler medical facility in Hawaii. It's like they serve 170,000 basically servicemen all through the Pacific region, and it's actually for kind of military application, but a huge percentage of them are suffering from back and neck issues. So
Fantastic. And we'll spend some more time as well digging into a few of the projects that were referenced, and we have some slides, we even have a video we can play a little later on, which is really exciting. But to dig into a little bit more detail, I'd love to start with Vinu and talk about the success that we've seen so far with accessibility use cases, accessibility apps on our glasses. And I'm curious why you think the Meta glasses have been so appealing to the blind and low vision community, and why you've invested so much so far in our platform, and how you're thinking about wearable devices as your future at IRA.
All right, well, let's see. So I think the short answer is hands-free. Like that is the #1 reason it's so popular. I think today, walking around with a smartphone in your hand takes a hand, and that's a hand that you can't use for a guide dog, a white cane, a shopping bag, anything else, balance. And so hands-free is so important to our community. They found workarounds, and some of our users have worn their smartphone on a lanyard around their neck, because like holding out a $1,000 device can be a little bit sketchy too. I don't know if people aren't comfortable with that. But the lanyards, not only is it not the coolest look, but it's terrible for our visual interpreters. You're asking someone to move their whole body to look in a certain direction instead of just turning your head or holding your phone in a different way. But also we've had cases of, during long navigation calls, our interpreters getting carsick from just like the constant motion of a phone on your body. And so hands-free has been something we've been going after for such a long time, and I think Meta unlocked that. We it's a bit of a full circle for IRA, because when IRA got started, our founder was looking for a good use case for the original Google Glass. So this was 12 plus years ago, and they became friends with a blind individual and had this idea, like, if you could connect a person through this wearable technology with a sighted human, could you unlock independence, navigation, shopping, all that kind of stuff. And so it took off, but the glasses were incredibly expensive. I think it was like a $1,500 price point to start. They were odd looking, and they were not accessible, like doing things like powering them up, troubleshooting issues on them, they were just really hard to deal with. And so IRA went into this idea of like, well, what if we made glasses ourselves? What if we designed and manufactured glasses specific for the blind? But the reality is designing and manufacturing glasses is incredibly expensive, and IRA did not have the money for it. We burned through all of it, made a horrible mistake. And so when I joined as CTO, it was at the time when glasses were off the table. We had said we're no longer supporting them. So the question we would get at every conference we went to is, when are glasses coming back? All the time. And we didn't have a good answer until Meta. And then when the Meta Ray-Bans were announced, the question became, when will you support the Meta Ray-Bans? We didn't have a good answer for that, and so we actually built a hack using WhatsApp, which was super clunky, but it allowed, so a person would call an IRA visual interpreter, they would transfer to a WhatsApp call and take over from there. Horribly brittle, but people still loved it because it gave them hands-free. And so as soon as we got early access, thanks to Connor and team, to the device access toolkit, it became our company's #1 priority, is get on Meta now. And when we launched, it's been amazing. So that's it.
That's fantastic. It's been great working with you over the last year, and it was fantastic to see that launch. I think it was in early April, and the integration finally went live, so congrats once again. And Niels, you were also an early partner of ours. You referenced about 1.5 years ago when we first started working together, and you've focused in on a set of use cases that you've really started working on and targeting. I'm curious why you've gone after those use cases and where you think the long-term value is in the platform that we're building up.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, we're focused on real-world experiences, and the whole point of most of these experiences, again, theme parks, cruise ships, zoos, museums, things like that, is the experience. But nowadays, a lot of the time, you have at least one person in the group that is the designated kind of phone person that is managing everything, and they spend half the day on their phone going through whatever app exists, if an app exists for that location, and they're managing things throughout the day, things like navigation, things like ordering food, figuring out what to do, or like whatever it is. And that really takes you out of your day. It means that you paid all this money to go do this cool thing, and now you're there and you're spending half of your day buried in your phone. So the thing that we're really trying to do, and why I think it's such a great fit with the wearables, is that with the wearables, we get to sort of interface with the user without throwing them into their phone. So we get to guide the user, we get to help them throughout their day, we get to make suggestions, and we can do all of this with very minimal phone usage. So it keeps the user engaged, similarly to what you were saying as well. It's hands-free, and yeah, it really just means that you get more out of your day. You're not buried in your phone half the day. And soon, hopefully, we are going to go live with a big pilot. I can't name it just yet, but hopefully by that time when we go live, we will be able to bring this to quite a few people and make their days better. So yeah.
And you brought along a video of one of the use cases. Should we play it? Let's open plays. Open place. Let's see if it works.
Hey Supermoon, I've never been here before. Can you be my guide?
Hey Sadie, welcome to the museum. Leave it to me. I'll be your guide.
I only have an hour. Can you make that work?
I sure can. Get ready for the best 1-hour art tour ever.
What can you tell me about this piece?
The Feast of the Gods is the only known mythological painting by Giovanni Bellini.
What's something most people don't know about this museum?
The National Gallery is designed so you don't notice that the building itself isn't square.
Are all of these sculptures by the same artist?
Most of these sculptures are ancient Roman marble works by various artists.
What was the name of this one again?
This is Horsemen and Herdsmen with Cattle by Elbert Kuyp.
Is there a place to grab a snack before the end of the tour?
There was a beautiful cafe on the East End.
Will you guide me there?
Of course, starting navigation now. Hey Sadie, looks like our hour is up. Next time you come, I'll be ready to guide you again.
I can't wait for next time.
Fantastic. And I was so impressed when, I think it was in December, I got to come along and do an on-site test with you for one of the integrations you were working on, just to see how well it was performing even in the early days of our SDK. So it's really energizing to see how well this is extended to so many different use cases and the work that everyone on the Supermoon team has been doing. So thank you. And I go backwards, which I don't think we can. There we go. Cool. I'd also love to now chat with Jason and Andrew about some of the work you referenced early in the opening of this panel, when you spoke about the engagement you've done with NASCAR, and then also the work you're doing around mobility and how you're fitting that into everyday use cases. I'd love to get a better understanding from you of why you focused on the display glasses. You were one of the first partners we actually engaged and were working on display-based experiences. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit more just about those projects in detail and why you focused on the display glasses themselves as opposed to a displayless.
Sure, yeah, and Andrew will jump in on the technical side. I'll cover more kind of higher level on the strategy piece, but you want to bring the NASCAR slide up? Yeah. So here's the just some imagery from the actual pilot in Sonoma. You'll notice that the Sonoma track is actually not the typical NASCAR oval, and we think glasses is just perfect for motorsports. But one thing that makes NASCAR and motor racing a little bit of an edge case is that it is so freaking loud. So it's interesting, like trying to use like voice AI and stuff in those situations. It doesn't work. So that's why display, in particular, is kind of perfect for this. The other thing that's really interesting with the data is that it actually changes throughout the race. So there's like kind of different types of data that's important at different times. And being able to and there's 40 cars on track. So being able to visually sort through that stuff makes it a lot easier than using voice controls as well. But do you want to say anything?
Yeah, you go a little bit more into it. They're really cool. Of all the glasses, like I think the display Ray-Bans are just like, they're just super cool. They do everything. You can also do audio stuff on the display glasses, but between the actual being able to see everything and using the actual wristband, I don't know if you guys have gotten to try the wristband with the Meta Ray-Bans. They are so good. Like, I'm very skeptical because I'm a developer, so I've seen all this stuff and I'm very jaded. But after trying on that, like the wristband, that thing's like, it's like a magic trick. I'm like mind blown every time I use it. I love the thing.
But the utility we got from it was, we've been in the space for a long time, and sometimes you're trying a new technology with a phone or with Quest headset or something with a lot of VR stuff with a lot more friction to put on. But the response we got from the track was unanimously super positive. When can we buy this? You know, I would use this as a race fan right this second. So we really think that there's something there. We want to bring it to many, many sports.
And would you also like to talk about the other project that you're working on? And I'm curious, why did you focus on web development as opposed to maybe the mobile SDK path?
I can go into this one. So why web development? There's two main reasons we went into web development. The first reason, which is the initial reason we went into it, is when the device SDK first came out, customizing things wasn't exactly super dynamic. So we make products for brands, and brands want products that look like their brand. 90% of the time, that brand looks like a website. So we oftentimes, for the most part, we really needed the customization that the website provided. I don't know if you guys have developed on web before, but web has everything. The decision to open it up to web apps was just an amazing decision. Web does too much. Web does too much of everything. Anything you ever need done, animations, transitions, any web platform, being able to build that directly into your glasses just pretty much solves every problem we've had from a visual standpoint. There was a second thing we A second problem that it solved that we didn't realize until we started testing, that you actually, Connor actually went into, which is iteration. What we didn't realize as we're building it, the environment, it's like the Wild West out here building for display glasses. What works, what doesn't work, we don't really know. Sometimes we even ask the folks like our connections at Meta, and they don't know either. So things that worked on HMD, things that work on mobile, things that work on websites, some of them work and some of them don't work. And the only way that we really were able to figure it out is super fast iteration time. So sometimes we'll have, Jason will be testing in Hawaii on patients and he'll be like, hey, this didn't work. Can we like restructure the whole website to do it like this? And there's no side loading, no nothing. I just update whatever's on the URL and it automatically updates and they're just able to test it again.
In a conversation with me, you actually used the analogy of the step counts on an iPhone, of like how that's just synonymous in everyone's day, it's something they track, and your hope and aspiration for like this type of use case to potentially become our version of wearables in the future.
Yeah, so this use case in particular, so this was for a Air Force grant to rapidly detect neck and back issues. So we're measuring kind of inside out from the glasses side. But the thing that we're really excited about, and we've done a small trial just for accuracy, the next trial that we're moving into with Tripler is actually trying to measure over a long period of time and cue people remotely that may be in a bad posture and stuff. And I think there's going to be a lot, no one's ever done that before, so that's the other amazing thing, is like until this piece of hardware was available, you couldn't actually measure this over such long periods of time. And we're going to we expect to find a lot of kind of data about like how long people are in these very bad positions for your neck. So I was just Googling, like I think with the younger generation, it's like 6 to 7 hours on their phone a day, average. And that's just super bad for your posture. So what we're excited about is through this kind of study is can we find that just by remote cueing that people will lift up their neck, and that actually improves a whole bunch of health issues with just a small kind of like modification of their behavior. And that actually becomes something that hopefully working with Meta and everyone, that the glasses just track at an OS level and can start prompting at an OS level, and it becomes a reason to get glasses instead of using your phone. So, like tracking steps, basically. Yeah.
Every Zoom call I have with Jason, I always find myself intentionally sitting up a little straighter now, just making sure that I adhere to the guidance and advice that he's given to us as well. So I think we have time maybe for 2 more questions.
Yes.
Which I'd love to extend to all of the panel for those to chime in. So we've heard about the amazing use cases that we're all building. These are folks who've been building with us for a good amount of time. I'm sure you're curious to actually hear maybe what advice they might have for us. So I'd love to hear from you all if there were 2 feature requests that you would like to potentially see on our wearables platform, or things that you think could enhance the experience for your consumers, what would they be?
Number 1 is clearly voice commands. Like if you want true hands-free, you shouldn't have to pull your phone out of your pocket. And right now, people have worked around it with a Siri integration, trying to make things work, but true voice commands, allowing people to start a call, to end, to mute, to do all those things with their voice would be amazing, or even touch, like gestures would be great. And number 2, I think might be unique to us, is like dynamic camera control. So the problem for us is we have to optimize for something, and at the moment we optimize for resource utilization on the glasses. We want the glasses to stay up as long as they can, because sometimes if you're navigating the airport, it's take 30 minutes to get from one gate to the other. You can't have the glasses die halfway through. And so battery life is crucial. And so what we do is when we are requesting like a camera feed, it's medium quality, because for us, medium quality is a good amount of quality for a visual interpreter to help with certain types of tasks, but it's not always true. And there are times when, for like reading mail or something, you want the highest resolution possible. And so if we could more dynamically, based on the intent, based on what someone's doing, go, okay, temporarily switch to high quality, now go back to medium, now take a picture of the highest quality possible, then go back to streaming, and just allow either through like, automatically on the device or through our remote agent, allow them to do that. It would be very powerful for us.
Great for conserve battery and potentially great for computer vision use cases as well in the future. Niels?
Yeah, I think for our use case, because our use case is kind of an all-day, like always-on experience, where the user starts up our guide in the morning and keeps it on the whole day during their experience and only shuts it off when they're done. The big thing for us is kind of handoff between our experience and other things you might do with the classes. So right now, when our experience is active and you take a call, it breaks the experience. You have to go back, restart the experience, and until we want to listen to a song, and then it's broken. And so that kind of handoff between different experiences would be, I think, really big for us. And also, I think right now we can kind of get away with it because there aren't yet very many experiences for the classes. But as people build up more and more applications, I think it's going to become more and more important. And I think the expectation will be on the user side that you can easily switch between all these different things and kind of seamlessly do all these things throughout your day. So that would be my one big ask.
Yeah, I'm sure Andrew's going to have a technical ask, but for my ask, it would actually be, and Andrew referenced that he was saying that on the web you can do everything, right? So what we discovered was there was no guidance for UI, UX. There was just you're going to get a lot of not so good apps out there. It would just accelerate everyone if there was some kind of best practices that's kind of evolving over time, but new developers could come in and at least have a starting point, because that's so critical on how effective an app will be.
Funnily enough, my one's also related to web. So web has almost everything, since we don't have access to certain features, which is like camera access and mic access, and that's, I think, the main decider of whether we decide to build it via native or web, and having access to that on web would be huge. And the second thing is, I would like access to the wristband even more. That thing is so fun to develop on or develop with, and I think just as a peripheral for accessibility and just as a form of control that doesn't require a whole lot of access, it's very minimal. I think it's very powerful.
Fantastic. Great feedback. All stuff we're thinking about very intently. So great to hear. And then I think we have time for one last question. And obviously this is the start of our platform, and it's now been live since December of last year, with many of you getting early access. I'm curious where you see wearable-based experiences and our platform heading in the future for consumers and developers. So 5 years from now, what do you feel like the interactions will look like with wearable devices, and what is that going to look like for consumers and for developers?
I don't have a great answer to this one, so I might pass it down. But I figure more ubiquity. I think it's just going to become more and more common that people have wearables and are doing more with them. And just at least for Ira, there is sometimes cases where the phone does add value. So as an example, which we ran into during a demo, was having someone try and cook with their Meta glasses, and you had a remote visual interpreter who wanted to check, I think it was whether the steak had the right texture or something, and they realizing that asking someone to put their head closer to a pan was not the best way to handle that situation. So there's also one where looking for your lost keys and asking someone to crawl under their desk so that you can see through the glasses. It might be hand off to your phone, use the phone's flashlight, scan remotely, switch back. So I think that there's some sort of collaboration between devices and using the best device for the task. But I imagine, we said Ira, I want everyone to have a pair of glasses and wear them all the time and just see what that kind of world evolves into.
Yes. So I'm hoping that the glasses will become more of a platform of their own instead of kind of an extension of your phone, which is the case a lot of the time right now. So you could imagine a scenario where you have your glasses on and you walk into a museum and no phone involved. The glasses just tell you that there's a local experience available. Do you want to start it? Yes or no? And just start it right from your glasses, you don't need to download an app, you don't need to pull out your phone and link something. And yeah, I think that would do a couple things. One is, again, like sort of position the glasses more of a platform of their own instead of an extension of the phone. And also, I think it would help a ton with discoverability. Because if you're talking about things like a zoo or whatever, like sometimes people don't know that there is an app. But you know, if you walk in, your glasses tell you, then that's fixed. So yeah, that'd be my hope that we can get to that vision.
I think what would be really exciting is obviously in the future we're going to get much more kind of field of view. You'll have full spatial kind of content. But I think what we're excited about is like this kind of intelligence and context that changes that kind of state automatically. So you know, if you're thinking about let's say NASCAR for example, if I'm sitting in front of the TV and watching at home, I get all this stuff spatially arranged next to my big screen TV. I turn around and walk to my fridge to get more nachos for the game, and it minimizes into like a small little view. And then when I'm out on track, even though my glasses can do some crazy spatial stuff, I don't want that. I want to watch the race live. So maybe it's still in this minimized thing. I think part of the intelligence is going to be just pulling it away versus like putting everything out there, because that'll just get a little annoying over time. So.
I also don't have a good answer specifically for this one. It's kind of hard to see 5 years into the future. I think in 5 years, a lot of the main use cases are going to be figured out. So a lot of the development at that point is going to be less about figuring out what we can do and just figuring out how to better do what exists at that time. Everything's going to be smaller. It's going to be, the glasses are going to look cooler. We'll have 2 wristbands. But I'd say another one to take into consideration is probably in 5 years, we might have more intense data privacy or legal like surrounding it. So perhaps also develop apps in such a way that when those things do come into effect, you know, it won't be heavily affected as much.
This is certainly a journey we're investing heavily in. It's been inspiring to me to get to meet so many people so far at this event. I encourage everyone to come up to myself, the team, other members on the panel, ask any questions that you might have. But at this point, I'd like to give a big thank you to the panel, and please join me in giving them a round of applause.
Thank you so much, Ryan. Definitely going to be more aware of my neck, how I sit, and my posture. I would really value having access to what you are building at XR. Now, folks, we are shifting. Well, let's start with the question: is who's hungry? Can I get a show of hands? Who's excited for lunch? There are not enough folks. Okay, more programming in that sense. If folks aren't excited for lunch, but we have a great spread just outside the room here. But before we shift into lunch, I do want to highlight that we have posters. For many of you in this room, I think there are 18 different posters that are highlighting how folks are building and using our AI glasses. They are along the walls on the glasses, just outside near the staircase there. So I do hope folks take the time to go and look and read and engage with your fellow campers out here. Some of you, I encourage you to take a pair of our AI glasses or your own and try detailed responses. Or I like using, hey, I gotta look and summarize. It often tells me the information in a short amount of time. Look, we are gonna take a group photo. Now this is gonna be at the staircase just right outside near the registration desk. Please do not get lost in walking to the staircase because the food will be on your right-hand side. Anyone who dare steals a Yucatan fry, you give that person a look. And you say no. We'll eat right afterwards. So if we can walk out in an orderly fashion to the staircase, we will all assemble and take a very nice photo. Everyone's gonna smile. We're all gonna try to fit all 100 of us plus the metamates out there. So if we can just open the door and everyone's just kind of single file, let's see how organized we are. And then you'll be able to check emails, have lunch with each other right afterwards. So, thank you.
buddy?
I think I've got a mistake between you and Will.
Me and Will.
Yeah, you know Will.
You trying to say all black people look alike?
No, brother, I'm proud to be black too.
I'm messing with you, brother.
I'm from North Africa.
I know. I'm messing with you.
So when I said that, I said, after you left, I said, you know something, I make a mistake.
Don't get me wrong. I was talking to the guy that was sitting across us, sitting down. I realized I was talking to him yesterday, and I told him hi twice. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Yeah.
I bet you left and you went in.
Yeah.
And actually, welcome in. I said, you just been wearing a blue jacket. Wow, how you got pink jacket on?
Yeah.
And I said, I think you don't know, you're not talking to me.
Yeah.
And then I looked again and said, oh God, this is Will. I didn't talk to him yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm glad, and I can thank you, brother. Yeah, okay. Thank you, brother. Okay, guys. Yeah, I will get back with you guys. Okay. See you.